Hello, my name is Andrew, and today I'm going to show you the HP SDN program Network Protector. Network Protector monitors DNS traffic on a network topology. So we've hooked up today the HP 2920 switch, the HP 3800 switch, the HP 3500 YL switch, an Open vSwitch, and a Mininet topology. And we're going to review the setup of the HP switches, and we're going to go into the Network Protector application and actually create websites that we want to blacklist so we can monitor the DNS traffic. The way this kind of works is if you had a company and during working hours you didn't want them to access a website like Facebook.com, you would go into Network Protector, and then throughout your entire network they would not have access to Facebook.com. So you can kind of see how this would be used. So on the physical switches, we have two VLANs, an open flow VLAN and a management VLAN. And it all starts in our HP 3500. So we have a physical internet connection into port 1 of the 3500. And then on port 3, we have a physical connection to the 2920. And on port 5, we have a physical connection to the 3800. Now all these ports, port 1, 3, 5, are on VLAN 1, and then on port 47 and 48 on the 3500 we have a management VLAN, VLAN 999. There's no physical connection on this VLAN between the 2920 and the 3500 or the 3800 and the 3500, but I wanted to give them a physical location so that it kind of shows that, hey, this is here. So we have on port 3 to port 1 of the 2920, we have an internet connection, and I put that on VLAN 1 of the 2920. And then VLAN 1 on the 2920 covers every single port but port 24. 24 is VLAN 999, and I gave it an IP address of 10.99.0.2. On the 2920 as well, in VLAN 1 on port 14, I connected a physical connection to a vSphere server to NIC 0. And on NIC 0, I ran a Windows Client 1, and I gave the Windows Client 1 IP address 10.10.10.105. The reason I did this is because we need a client to actually make DNS requests so that we can see if our network protector works. So there's this one. And then on our 3800, I did the same thing. I connected on VLAN 1, port 1, and Ethernet connection. And then on port 48, I put the management VLAN, and I assigned it an IP address of 10.99.0.3. And then on port 14, I connected the 3800 to NIC 1 of the vSphere. And then I ran NIC 1 on this Windows 7 Client 2 at IP address 10.10.10.106 to monitor its DNS traffic. What this topology doesn't show is that I also have the SDN controller connected on NIC 2, which is actually the 3500, and I have the OVS client at IP address 10.10.20.108 on the 3500 as well. And then I have a Mininet client, which is connected through the internal VM network. In an earlier video, I showed a topology where I had an HP 2920 switch, an OVS, and a Mininet switch, all in a network topology on the SDN controller. The only thing I've changed now is I've expanded it to include now the 3800 switch in that network topology. So that's where this topology comes from. And we're going to use this topology now to use Network Protector. So I'm going to go over the certain configurations I've done in the switches. So in our 3500, which is going to be acting as our routing layer, we have because my 3500, because I have a lab, my 3500 is downstream, so I had to create an IP default gateway, and then I had to create an IP route of 0.0.0.0 0.0.0.0, and then 10.10.0.254, which was the default gateway. I enabled IP routing. I created a VLAN 1, and I, as I said, gave it untagged, or no untagged 4748 to give the management VLAN a physical location, and I untagged 1 through 46, ports 1 through 46. Gave it an IP address of 10.10.20.2 with a net mask of 255.255.0.0. And then I created the management VLAN, VLAN 999. I gave it the 4748, and I tagged to wherever it's connected to. So the internet goes in at port 1, and it comes and transports through port 3 and 5 to the 2920 and the 3800. Then I gave it an IP address of 10.99.0.1, and then a mask of 255.255.0.0. So the 2920 and the 3800 are actually set up exactly the same, except the IP address on the management VLAN has just changed from .10.99.0.3 to 10.99.0.2. So that's the only difference, so we'll only go over that once. So I made the IP default gateway on the 2920 and the 3800, the management VLAN IP's address, which is 10.99.0.1. I IP routed it to 0.0.0.0, 0.0.0.0, 10.99.0.1. And then to use Network Protector, you need SNMPv3. So I did SNMPv3 enable. I created the user Sentinel with the authentication type MD5 and a privacy of DES. And then I did SNMPv3 group manager priv user quotation Sentinel, that's the username, sec-model version 3. And I made it SNMPv3 restricted access, and I did SNMP-server community quotations public and quotations operator unrestricted. So then next I set up my VLANs. And so I did VLAN 1, and I did no untag 24, yet again to create the management, I tried to give the management VLAN a physical location, and then I untagged every other port to VLAN 1. I gave it no IP address, and then I set up VLAN 999, gave it the name management, untagged 24, and then tagged the ports that are associated with internet connectivity travel, so port 2 and 12. And then I gave an IP address of 10.99.0.2, netmask 255.255.0.0. And then I set up OpenFlow. So I did OpenFlow, controller ID 1, IP 10.10.20.11. As I stated earlier, this is the IP address of the client that I use for the SDN controller. Then I use controller interface VLAN 999. That's my management VLAN. So the management VLAN is actually overseeing, it's the interface used to actually monitor the traffic. So then I created an instance SDN. I put the instance on VLAN 1, put controller ID 1 on it, put OpenFlow version 1.3, limit hardware rate 1000, limit software rate 1000. And the reason why you would do this is it kind of is a safety measure. Say that something starts happening and a lot of pressure is being put on hardware or software. You just limit it so that it's kind of like a fail-safe method. So that's why I did it. And then I did mode passive, and then I enabled my instance, and then I enabled OpenFlow. This is actually what you would type into the command line interface. So you do something like conf, C-O-N-F, space T, then you type in OpenFlow, enter, and then you would type these commands exactly as you see, except for no quotations around SDN. So there's that. And then the 3800 is the IP, like I said. So we'll go into vSphere. So we have our Windows Client 1, 2, SDN controller, our Open vSwitch, and our Mininet. So we will look at the settings. So in Windows Client 1, it's on NIC 3800, that's the switch. And then on Windows Client 2, it is on the 2920 NIC. On the SDN controller, it'll be on NIC 2, which is the 3500 SDN network NIC 2. OVS, it'll be on SDN network NIC 2, which is 3500. And then the Mininet, is on the VM network. So we're going to go to the SDN controller. And here you can see our topology is this. This is the HP switch. This is the HP 3800, and this is the 2920. This is Mininet, and then this is the Open vSwitch. So the HP controller version we're using is 2.3.5, and Network Protector version 1.1.11.1406. This version of Network Protector works with 2.3.5 versions of the controller and up. It is August 22nd. That could change. The next version of Network Protector could do HP SDN Controller 2.4, but that's not out yet, so I don't have any knowledge of that. The way you'd get Network Protector is you'd get it from the HP App Store, SDN App Store. They'd give you a zip file, and then you'd hit New, you'd browse, and you'd select the zip file, not the DEB file, something like this, but this is the old HP version of the controller, and then you'd hit Upload, and it'd come, and then you'd hit Deploy. And then you'd see it here, and it should say active. So after you do that, you can go into Network Protector. Network Protector is the same URL as the SDN controller, except for where it says SDN controller or SDN/UI/ you'd put Network Protector /UI/, and then you'd come to the dashboard and you'd be here. So the way to set your switches up to use Network Protector is to go to the Administration tab. You would go to SNMP, and you'd hit this plus button, and then you type in your credentials. So that user you created in the switch, that's Sentinel, MD5, your password, DES, password again, and then you'd hit OK. I already have these credentials in, so it's going to tell me that I already have them. And then it should show up right here. So what we're interested in is that DNS monitoring traffic. And so you'd put in sites that you don't want them to access, like Facebook.com. Right now I have it active. We're going to disable them for now and show you that on our Windows clients that they can actually connect to websites like Facebook.com and Google and Yahoo. So Facebook, right now, it has internet access. Go to Facebook, go to Yahoo. So that just kind of shows. So we're going to go back to our SDN controller, and I'll show you here. So right now, these two clients, this is the one of the Windows clients, and this is the other one. They have 14 requests each. I've previously done this, so they have some malicious queries already. So we'll go back to our custom blacklist. We're going to enable them. Oh, well, this is how you would do it, by the way. We'll go through that. So you'd hit this plus button, and you would type in your URL. And if you wanted it always, you would select always, and then you'd pick the action. It could drop, it could notify you, like it would send you an email, or it would go on your SDN controller under alerts that there was a malicious query detected, and you can see the IP or the MAC address. Or you could do drop and notify. They both technically notify you, but drop and notify can notify you a different way. But we'll select drop. Or you could do a specific range. So say you wanted it between 10:49 and 11:49 every day. You'd hit add and you could click save, or you could create some custom time range. We're going to do always, and then you'd hit OK. I already have it, so I can't do that, but here we go. So we're going to re-enable these. Oh, so in this says blacklist group, or not blacklist group, but group member list, and that's why we did SNMPv3 group manager priv. That's why it says manager priv, is because that's the user group we created. So there's that. We have Facebook. Okay. And so now we should not be able to connect to our Facebook or Yahoo or our Google Doc. All right, so we shouldn't be able to access these websites. So we'll do a quick control to show that there's still internet access. We'll go to www. Well, you can see MSN, but we'll go to YouTube. Something easy. Go to YouTube. So it has internet access. So we'll go open a new tab. We will open a new tab. And we're going to go to, well, first of all, we'll go to Yahoo. Go to Yahoo. So now it can't connect. Let's try Facebook. Click Facebook. Go to Facebook on this one. Facebook. And as you can see, it still has no internet connectivity to it. Alright, so now we can try to go to Google. And now Google, we can't connect to Google. So we'll go back to our SDN controller, or our network protector, and we'll disable them again. And let's see if we can connect now. We'll close this, close it out, close it out. Go to sometimes you have to update the cache, but anyway, you can see that those websites were denied. And we'll go to the SDN controller. Let's go to the dashboard. Remember, it said 1414 and now it says 1717. So they've each generated bad DNS requests. And they each generated 3 because we typed in Facebook, we went to Yahoo, and we went to Google. So now they are being denied. Our last DNS request was google.com. You can see how many incoming DNS queries you have per second. So say I wanted to do this, open up the command prompt. If I do an NS lookup, we should see incoming DNS queries because there are from our client over here. So now let's see if we can go to yahoo.com. Close this out real fast. Ooh. So it seems like the cache is taking a little bit for now. So we'll just put that down for a bit. But anyway, that's Network Protector, and that is how you would use it. You can go to the Report tab, go to System, and you could see, you could generate graphs to show like your DNS requests. And this is total DNS requests. That's not good. It's not the good or bad. You could show top 100 talkers, top 100 malicious hosts. It can generate multiple types of reports. You can go to alert logs, or alerts and logs. And So that's just a basic overview of how to use the HP Network Protector application. And I hope you learned something, and I hope you have a good day. See ya.